for so long. But that doesn't change the fact that Golden Boy built Canelo Alvarez, period. The company you fought under for decades has always had one name, and it's mine. So put some fucking respect on it.
Oh, shit!
As for Jaime, he has always dared to be great, just as he's this Saturday night. And this serves as a bit of a full circle for him. Remember when Jaime was 21 years old, volunteered to step in against Triple G, and Canelo failed 2 drug tests?
Oh, shit!
Though Jaime wasn't allowed to fulfill his dream, 2018, on Saturday night, he will do just that, fulfill his dream and be world champion.
Tienen que escribirle lo que tiene que decir este pinche maricón, cabrón. Tú lo escribes, ¿qué no escribes, pendejo? Tú no escribes nada, cabrón. Eres un pendejo. Eres un pendejo, cabrón, porque estás nomás ahí. Los que hacen todo son los que están atrás de ti.
So this is all that anybody's talking about right now in the world of boxing ahead of this weekend's big super middleweight showdown, with good reason. Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez finally had it out with each other. Canelo Alvarez has been mostly dismissive of Oscar De La Hoya and what he's had to say in the build-up, but Oscar, he keeps poking the bear. He wants to. Like how he consistently used to take shots at Floyd Mayweather whenever he got the chance, like he consistently still takes shots at Eddie Hearn whenever he gets the chance. He's been doing that with Canelo. And it finally came to a head at today's press conference. To a boiling point, pertaining to what Oscar De La Hoya said, that for a number of years, Golden Boy Promotions promoted Canelo Alvarez and helped him get to where he is today. That bit of it is true, but it's only half the story. Only half. How so? They may have helped Canelo Alvarez in his career, but he in turn helped them. Because when Oscar De La Hoya was running around, putting on fishnets and treating his nose and going through whatever he was going through, when Dick Schaefer and Al Heyman and Floyd Mayweather backdoored him and funneled all of those fighters that were at Golden Boy over to what became the PBC, you know who stood by him? Who? You know who was alongside him? Who? Canelo. When Golden Boy Promotions was dealt that critical blow, the only reason they were able to survive it is because of Canelo. Al Heyman funneled all of those Golden Boy Promotions fighters over to what eventually became his PBC. You're talking about Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Deontay Wilder, all those guys that you came to know at the PBC, they were at Golden Boy first. Another promotional outfit under those same circumstances, losing that much of their stable, would not have been able to survive. If Golden Boy was, it's because Canelo was already a bigger draw than any of them. So you might say that Golden Boy had their hand in helping Canelo, but the same can be said in reverse. Canelo had his hand in helping them because for a very long time, he was their only bargaining chip. The only thing keeping them afloat. After HBO left boxing, why do you think DAZN offered them a deal? Do you think they would have offered them a deal if they didn't have Canelo? Canelo is the reason they brought them on board. We know why they did it, in the hopes that they could stage a third Golovkin fight. In that way, Canelo is the reason that Golden Boy Promotions had survives here today. They could have went under. If not for him, they would have went under a long time ago. So yeah, Golden Boy Promotions helped Canelo get to where he's gotten to here today, but he could say the same about them. He's the reason they were able to weather that tumultuous time, that storm. I don't expect Oscar to acknowledge that. Or why it was that Canelo Alvarez, where so many other fighters have failed, was able to achieve his free agency. Talk about it.
You just mentioned that you popped twice up there. Has it changed since back then?
Back.
What do you mean?
Back out of the way. He can hear you.
Do you believe it was the meat, the computer all in the meat still?
I don't know. I mean, my opinion is my opinion, and the facts are the facts. That's it. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a. Am I going up here? No. I just didn't. I'm not anybody. All I know is that he failed 2 drug tests.
He did, but you can't stand on a soapbox now and preach about it when all of that was going on. You stood beside him. Defended him. From all of the critics and all of the criticism as the World Boxing Council and the WBA themselves did damage control for Canelo, asserting his innocence. You ate it up. So your self-righteous tirade kind of falls on deaf ears. What, now it bothers you that he tested positive for a banned substance where it didn't bother you before? Well, what's different? Well, before you were promoting him, you were his promoter, and now you're not. And because you're not, you can't let it go. He's been like a woman scorned ever since, taking shots at Canelo, taking shots at Eddie Hearn. The real question is, if what Canelo is saying isn't true, then how was he able to achieve free agency? Because he was still under contract. He still had a lot of fights left. When he sued you guys, you released him. Why?
Oscar, what did you make of Canelo's comments to you there at the end when he called you a fucking pussy?
I've been called worse.
What did he say to you up there?
Huh?
What did he say to you up there?
There's nothing he can say. What is he going to say about me? What?
He
I'm a
said you
pussy?
stole money on him. What do you make of those comments?
It's defamation. I mean, look, I take it very serious of what I do and how I do it, and my work and my company is very, very serious. So for him to that's defamation.
Well, defamation, like anything else in a court of law, is something you must constitute, something you must prove. That if you're accusing him of defaming you, prove him wrong. Prove you weren't stealing money, or trying to, because there has to be a reason you released him. If the contract was airtight and actionable, then why did you let him go? He was all you had at the time. Young Ryan Garcia was not then what he is now. Canelo was your only draw at the time, your only box office fighter. But when he filed suit against you, you elected to cut him loose. Why? Is it because what he was saying was true, and you knew it, and you knew you couldn't win? You knew you couldn't fight it. There are a lot of fighters that have had issues with their promoters and attempted to achieve free agency. A lot of fighters who lost a lot of time, like Andre Ward, like Mikey Garcia. They lost years trying to achieve what Canelo achieved in just weeks.
And you know what? I have something coming for him.
Oscar, how long were you waiting to get that off?
With Canelo Alvarez making those comments, he's been relatively calm. He looks
I said or did that. He tried to steal money, and he's a fucking asshole. That's what I said. He's a fucking asshole. He tried to keep the attention for him, not for Munguia. He's a fucking asshole. He steals his fighters. That's what he do.
Okay, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. Go ahead, Miguel.
Fucking pussy. Motherfucker.
All right.
Everyone, I'm for you too, motherfucker.
What made you start to get up and confront him?
He insulted me, and that's why I get. He insulted me, and I don't want to permit that.
You look like you were going to punch him.
Yeah, I will. If he come closer, I fuck him.
Fucking hard.
What were you saying to him in Spanish when you first started to shout at him?
No, he's a fucking asshole. And he tried to steal money for the fighters, and he maybe steal money from their fighters. I don't know, but I have proofs. He tried to steal my money from me, from Golovkin, everything.
I remember right before Canelo filed suit against Golden Boy Promotions, they were going through a thing where DAZN would only approve certain selections, certain opponents for Canelo, and I believe that's where the rift started. That if my memory serves me, based on Canelo's existing deal with Golden Boy, that predated the DAZN deal, Canelo made those decisions. Canelo was in charge of who he fought and nobody else. And it appears that Golden Boy violated that deal going into a new deal with DAZN, because all of a sudden, DAZN had a say. I remember that. This bit about Oscar De La Hoya stealing money from him and stealing money from Golovkin, that's new. What about Golovkin? I remember way back when it seemed like Oscar promised DAZN a third Canelo versus Golovkin fight where Canelo wasn't necessarily on board with that. I remember that. I remember DAZN was hell-bent on doing that trilogy. They paid out a lot of dough to make it happen.
But he's a fucking asshole.
So when I asked you when we did
he don't care about his fighter, because he tried to bring all the attention for him, and he don't care about the Jaime Munguia, his best fight, his best weekend from Munguia. He don't care anything about his fighter. He just care about him.
Is that the way it is? Is Oscar De La Hoya taking the attention, the spotlight, away from Jaime Munguia and placing it on himself, monopolizing all the attention due to his ongoing rift with Canelo, because it's Canelo versus Munguia fighting this weekend, not Canelo versus Oscar. Oscar De La Hoya took this press conference as an opportunity to air his 3 or 4 year old grievances with Canelo.
When we did our Zoom together, I asked you if it would give you more satisfaction beyond just winning and beating an undefeated fighter. Would it give you bigger satisfaction by taking down Oscar's #1 fighter? You said you didn't care, then you kind of said, well, yeah, I guess, when I kind of pressed you. Now that you've had the confrontation.
Yeah, I'm gonna be so happy that night. You will see.
What will you do to besides just?
I'm gonna fucking motherfucker, son of a bitch.
One is left to wonder if Oscar's not doing what he's doing to throw Canelo off, throw him off his game, because an emotional response and eliciting one, in a fighter, sometimes it does throw a fighter off. An otherwise cerebral and controlled fighter, like what Fury did to Vladimir Klitschko, like what Ryan Garcia just did to Devin Haney in the first round. In the first round, Ryan came out like a bat out of hell, and he was bum rushing Devin. Devin wanted his lick back after that. And you see what happened.
I don't think there's much more to say than that. Okay.
Can you take some other questions?
I'm Dan.
Nah,
How are you
Good to see you.
doing?
I'm very strong. I'm very strong fighter.
The thing is, eliciting an emotional response from a fighter may have a different effect depending on the fighter. If the fighter is a thinker, a thinking man's fighter, a cerebral fighter, like a Klitschko, like a Haney, yeah, it might throw them off. Though not every fighter is a thinking man's fighter. Not every fighter is cerebral. In some other fighters, eliciting an emotional response, that might sharpen them up. Wake them up. Things have been mostly cordial between Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia in the build-up. There's no bad blood between them, and no reason in particular for Canelo to want to send him a message or make a statement. Not with Jaime, but with Oscar. If Oscar goes as far as poking the bear, he's going to get the paws. He's going to get the claws. You make it about yourself. Now Canelo's going to make it about you.
When you made a reference, look, we did a lot of recording. You mentioned about the steal.
I have proof. He tried to steal money from me.
Not that side deal that he did for his own fights with the zone.
No. He tried to steal money from me, from my fight with Golovkin. And he tried to steal money from Golovkin.
For the second fight or the first fight?
I don't remember. Maybe 3-1, 2-1, 3-1. The 3-1 not because
Right, wasn't his
the
fight.
second one or the 3-1. But he tried to steal money, and I have proofs.
Canelo is adamant that somewhere in there, the first fight or the second one, when Golden Boy Promotions was still involved in his career, that Oscar not only tried to steal money from him, but he tried to steal money from Gennady Golovkin. And this is the first I've heard of this. You have to wonder if that's not why Golden Boy released him, because they were caught and they knew they were caught. Thus, in that situation, the most cost-feasible option is to give him what he wants and let him go. He doesn't want to work with you anymore? Don't make him.
Feeling that something like this was going to go down today, were you prepared for it?
I cannot have the feeling.
You already knew what you were
Because
going to
he just want attention, no matter what.
I noticed he wasn't in the picture when all the teams were together, like Jaime and the whole
No, because he come close and I really beat him. I really punched him. If he come really close to me, I punch him in that situation.
A pesar de que podrías lastimarse.
No me importa, en ese momento no te importa nada. Si se me acerca, que ni se me acerque. Árale. Gracias.
Canelo.
Con este, me lo voy a comer. Gracias.
Canelo, do you think he said that because it was a press conference and there was security?
Yeah, of course. He don't want to say anything when we are alone. And plus, he's mad because I'm leave Golden Boy.
Whether or not Oscar De La Hoya was trying to elicit an emotional response from Canelo in order to render him compromised and throw him off the night of the fight, that's open to debate. Your guess is as good as mine, but the effect that I know it's going to have is that it's going to help sell this fight. Things have been pretty polite, pretty cordial up until this point between Jaime and Canelo, where now it's not about them. Not anymore. Oscar went ahead and monopolized all the attention and made it about him versus Canelo, where it's supposed to be about Munguia versus Canelo. He put the focus on him. Now Canelo's focused on him. And that may not be a good thing. Not for Oscar's fighter. What is an already aggressive fighter is not compromised if you piss him off, if you ruffle their feathers, if you poke the proverbial bear. It has a different effect on what already is an aggressive fighter as opposed to a cerebral one. Just makes him more aggressive. For Canelo Alvarez, this may have seemed like just another day at the office, just another guy he's got to beat for his next gigantic purse. It may have seemed that way because he has no ill will or bad blood towards Jaime Munguia, but Oscar making it about him. Now you woke him up. You gave him a reason. You just gave him a reason not to be asleep at the wheel, that there may come a day where he loses another fight, but it won't be this one, because he doesn't want to give you the satisfaction. Some speculate that this is Oscar just selling the fight, doing what he has to do to sell the fight. Piss off Canelo. I don't know that I'm ready to believe that, because this is seldom age from Oscar De La Hoya. He was doing this to Floyd well after they fought. What fight was he selling that time? He still does this, to this day, to Eddie Hearn. And he's not promoting a show when he does it. So when he does it to Canelo, I don't think it's him masterminding some kind of strategy. I just think he's being petty because he's usually petty. He's always taking shots at people. Does it lend itself to the fight's promotion, the fight's profile? Of course it does. A public rivalry like this, Oscar and Canelo having it out with each other, the soap opera of boxing, years of bad blood between them. Yes, of course, it lends itself towards selling the fight, though I don't know that's necessarily what Oscar was shooting for. I think that's the inadvertent effect that it's going to have, because I was quite confident already that the fight would do robust numbers just because it features two fighters of Mexican descent. I already thought it was going to sell. Now I'm quite confident it's going to sell. Perhaps do 1 million or in excess of 1 million pay-per-view buys based on the added drama Oscar added to it. Though if the notion is that Oscar is trying to render Canelo emotionally compromised, that doesn't have the effect on an already aggressive fighter that it has on a cerebral one. On a cerebral one, it throws them off. On an aggressive one, it just makes them more aggressive, more spiteful. He'll go in there having it in his head. I'm not gonna let myself lose to Oscar's guy. I won't let it happen. Where before, he may have been comfortable winning a points decision against Jaime, just picking him off and outboxing him, outclassing him. Well, now he wants to make a statement. Make a statement to Oscar, send him a message. I already favored Canelo to win this fight in spite of widespread speculation that he may be on the back nine and he's in decline. He didn't look like a fighter that's in decline to me against Jermell Charlo, and I don't expect to see a fighter in decline this weekend. I expect to see a guy who's switched on